2IT Sports, everybody. Laker talk was going on just before now, but it's always fun.
We'll just say that the Magic are our kryptonite. Terrible.
Everyone appears to figure this out on the road or at home. Maybe you could have first thought it was on the road, right? But no, not this way. We'll talk about the lowly Lakers later. But in this case, we're talking about Gregg Popovich versus, of course, former player Kawhi Leonard. After all the drama that went down last season, he had some things to say. Let's go right into it. Popovich was asked about the Patty Mills, of course, Patty Mills is still the point guard there in San Antonio, taking on more of a leadership role in the absence of people like Manu Ginobili and Tony Parker, and of course Kawhi Leonard, who had left after last year. And he said Kawhi was a great player, but he wasn't a leader. Manu and Patty were the leaders. Kawhi's talent will always be missed, but leadership wasn't his deal at the time. Going on to say that may come as he progresses. Patty and Manu filled that role for us last year. LaMarcus Aldridge came a long way as a leader also. Everyone on the team, basically. But that guy, Popovich, of course, did praise Kawhi's skill set, noted that Leonard could turn into more of a leader as he grows as a player, but it's clear that what Popovich thought, he thought way less of Kawhi in the role compared to people like Manu and Tony, and even Patty Mills, the point guard who doesn't get named shout out like legends from the Spurs. So of course, Kawhi Leonard was asked about this because people want to know, the drama is brewing. And he actually had some things to say, as he usually doesn't. I heard about it. It's just funny to me because, I don't know if he's talking about last year or not, but I guess when you stop playing, they forget how you lead. Other than that, it doesn't matter. I'm here with the Raptors. My focus is on the season and not what's going on the other side. Back to Popovich. Did they ask him about Kawhi Leonard? Or did he brought up his name? I think that's where it started. They said, how about the leadership of Patty Mills? Yeah, Patty Mills is becoming a leader on the team. And he goes, yeah, he's taking the role. Kawhi sucked at it. But he's taking on the role. I feel like there's some residual anger about the drama that happened last year with the injury and the mystery behind it and the eventual trade and all that went down. This isn't normally a Popovich-style move.
It's not, and it's still the most I feel like we've heard from Pop in a conference like that, that it wasn't pertaining too much about the game. I don't feel like it was a diss. I don't feel like Kawhi should have took it as a diss just because, he's not the most vocal guy.
Right.
And not to say that you have to be vocal to be a leader, but I don't feel like, I feel like Kawhi should have been an even bigger person and maybe just said like, he said what he said. I didn't take it as a diss. Like, he could have easily just said, look how the Spurs are performing now. Because, they're not performing as great without Kawhi. And that's not to say that Pop's coaching has anything to do with it. It just goes to show the type of player that Kawhi is. Doesn't have anything to do with his leadership, just strictly has to do with his performance. Again, I don't think Pop was trying to throw a shot. I do think that he was talking a lot more than he usually does and more than he needs to.
The Raptors are 17-4. Just saying. And the Bucks look good too. They're 14-5.
Well, Kawhi's a top 5 player. DeMar DeRozan's a top 20 player.
I don't know. Again, I always shout out the fact that you were a point guard and you play ball, but
you played ball too.
I did, but I have my opinions about the whole leadership thing. I think it's overblown.
How so?
The whole thing talking about how like you need to be a leader because you're the most talented guy on the team. The only leading I need to do is stop another team and then scoring on my end. Why do I need to tell someone else? Like, it's natural. If you're playing in a team setting like basketball, I talk to everybody on my team on the floor when you're trying to do something. Hey, you need this. There's talking. That's cool. But what are the qualities of a leader that they need you to have that's outside of being an amazing player? Like, what if you're just an amazing player? And you're not the guy who snatches somebody's collar and go, hey, you need to get your shit together. That's what they feel like. I feel like a lot of coaches need to force leadership on certain guys, and they think that's the picture of leadership, and I think it's ridiculous. If a guy is the type of guy who likes to snatch someone by the collar and say, hey, you need to get your shit together, son, cool, that's that kind of guy. But if other guy's quiet and walks up and scores 27 points a game, and then locks down the best offensive player on the other team, I don't need him to say shit.
Right. No, you're right. I feel like a leader and a great player are two different players. It's two different people. And it takes a very special player to be both. And we've seen, even some could agree that Michael Jordan wasn't the best leader because of the way that he communicated with his teammates. Not to say he wasn't a great leader, but some will have their own personal opinions. Now, a leader and a great player, you said it well, and I agree with you, are two different players. I feel like even right now with Kawhi, like he's not the leader with the Raptors right now.
I thought
You know?
the coach is supposed to be a leader. I get it. You need an
But
on-the-floor
Lowry
leader.
is a
I get
leader.
it. Yeah. You got someone there. You don't need just
Lowry's
because the
a
guy's
leader,
the
like-
biggest name doesn't mean he has to come in and be this voice of
You just
shoving
have to-
everyone around. I'm not sure what they're looking for.
Not necessarily shoving everybody around, but just be the voice of the coach. Like, it's kind of like that player that if the coach isn't there, or here's the analogy. A leader is someone that if your parents, okay, so parents brag about their kids. Like, oh, you know, little Johnny, like, he did so well. He won his basketball championship. Or, oh, Amy, she got an A+ on her test. But the best kids are the kids that you can go out of town and then you trust them. You know what I'm saying? Like, my parents, not to say that this is something you guys should do at home or your parents should do,
no.
but my parents had me babysit my brothers, who, by the way, are only 1 year younger than me, when I was like 7. Okay, they trusted me. I was a born leader, okay? That is what a leader is on the team. It's not necessarily the best player, it's just the one that you can trust. So if mom and dad or the coaches aren't there, they know that you're gonna still get the job done. Your teammates are still gonna trust you well enough, your brothers are still gonna trust you well enough to lead them into a successful practice, a successful team event, a successful game.
Oh yeah, because there's always the time when the coach, say like high school ball, the coach is late.
The
or
coach is
something,
late,
right?
and you still have to
then
warm up.
It's 7:30, and you're like, oh, we still gotta run practice, you guys.
Yeah.
Right? And then
Let's
a lot of
warm
times
up.
those
You
guys
guys know
were the
what you need
ones,
to do.
right? Guess who's the captain?
You're the captain?
You
You're
know-
a
you
born
know how I
leader?
became-
Are you the oldest?
Of what?
Your siblings?
Oh, I'm the youngest.
Oh, man.
I'm the spoiled brat. But the only way I stumbled into being captain on my basketball team because, again, it was one of those moments where coach wasn't there. It was like the second game of the season, and we're doing like meeting at half court with captains.
Right.
And I was like, I'll go.
You have
Because
to
I was
step
like,
up.
somebody's got to be there, right?
Somebody has to
But I
step
wasn't
up.
thinking, hey, you guys step aside. I was just like, we're gonna look stupid if nobody's there,
Somebody has to
right?
pick up the slack.
And it's so the thing is, what I realized later is when you're 17 years old, you don't realize how much high school coaches don't know what they're doing. Some.
I mean, I
When,
really feel.
because then afterwards he goes, oh, who stepped up? And he came out during the middle thing. He goes,
Right.
oh, Jayar and John stepped up and did it. And so these two are my captains. And I was like, he forgot to appoint captains. That's what actually happened. He forgot to do captains. He goes, oh, this is easy. I'll pick those two guys because they did it.
Right.
And I'll teach a lesson to the rest of the guys to how it's how you lead. We sucked.
Dang,
Anyway,
man.
the team
You
was
could have
really.
lied to us and told us that you were good.
The team was bad. I was good. Keep it real. But anyway, we got off on tangents.
But circle back, leaders and best
Leaders
players,
and best players
two
are
different things.
right? I mean, I was both, but I mean, it doesn't mean everybody has to be.
I mean, you have like, yeah, sure, you were.
And
But you have like, the Kobe's and the LeBron, who can do
those are
both.
natural.
It takes a very special player to do both, and not everyone is expected to do that. And I feel like in Kawhi's case, he's a great player.
That's what you need him
He's
to
not
do.
a leader.
He's doing what he's doing.
He didn't sign up to be a leader. That's fine. Doesn't mean he's a bad player.
And he almost has to say, yeah, I was a leader, what's up? Maybe he doesn't want to say that, but he has. If he says, yes,
He
I
does,
wasn't.
but he doesn't
if he
have
admits
to.
he wasn't a leader, people are gonna come down on him. Isn't that horrible?
No, because not necessarily. People will come down on him if his performance was terrible. People will come down on him if the Spurs are doing even better without him. But because it's not the case, because he's still doing great, and because the Spurs are not doing so great, then the fight is to his gain, where it's like, well, still playing well. The
all that
second he
matters.
stops playing well is when people really start talking. He's not a great leader.
One thing
he's a great
Kawhi
player.
should have had to say was 17-4.
That's it.
TYT Sports, everyone. Like, subscribe. Let us know what you think. There's comments down there. Yeah, just do it. See you. Yeah.
Do you guys want full TYT episodes? Yeah! So download YouTube TV and get a 7-day free week trial.